We operate a wild parrot conservation project in the South American country of Guyana. It's the wild scarlet macaw. Also, Amazon parrots in Guyana. It's a hyacinth macaw located in Brazil. This is the way we want to see parrots. This is a photograph. Actually, these are naturalized ringneck parrots in the Netherlands. They're considered an invasive species. This is one of the problems that the Wild Bird Conservation Act hoped to curtail. This is exportation of parrots. These are dozens of macaws crammed into crates, and this is generally has been the fate of parrots in the wild. The Wild Bird Conservation Act took the United States off the market for parrots, but that still left all of Europe and Asia open to parrot importations, and it's been a lucrative business around the world. These are parrots in Guyana. Guyana is one of 2 countries in South America that still legally exports its wildlife, which is why it is the place that we chose to work, because the trapping of parrots is still going on there. Okay, one of the unintended consequences of the Wild Bird Conservation Act was that was the sudden acceleration of domestic breeding of so-called cage or companion birds in this country. And much to the detriment of captive birds, there was no federal regulation in place to govern domestic breeding practices. And this industry remains largely unregulated on the federal and state level to this day. There are very few laws in place to protect parrots, and the avian industry is really highly motivated to keep it that way, and they will fight tooth and nail to make sure that no legislation to protect parrots in the trade is ever passed. This is a picture of a breeding facility, and I'm sure there are breeding facilities around the country. I don't want to make a blanket statement. They're not all horrible, but the vast majority of them look like this. When you read ads from breeders, lots of times they're producing 20 or 30 different kinds of parrots. What do you think the conditions are like? All these pictures that I'm showing you are from well-known breeding facilities that pump thousands, hundreds of thousands of parrots into the pet trade every year. They're parrot mills, much on the same lines as puppy mills. And these are perfectly acceptable. This is a place, it's beaches down in North Carolina, and these are the conditions. These birds, at least they get sunshine, but they have very little else. They don't have very much room to spread their wings. They certainly don't have any enrichments. These are dirty bowls. Once again, really hard to see, but it's mud, water. The conditions are horrible. They're bare bones. And this is prevalent all over the United States because there are no laws to govern this. As a matter of fact, most places, if you can show that there's some kind of shelter, some kind of evidence of a bird having had food and water in the last day, that's about all they need. And there's nothing that the law can do to come into a place like this. I mean, look at this poor guy. He's only got one eye. I had to throw a few in because this is a pretty pathetic situation. But this is what's happening to birds all over the country. And this is what we're motivated to deal with. But it's hard because once again, there are no laws. There's nothing that any agency can come in to do to help this bird. These are birds that were put up for public auction recently. And these are the birds that are producing the babies that you see in the pet stores. So it looks like a happy situation in the pet stores, but it's hell behind the scenes. And I think that one of our biggest frustrations as a parrot rescue organization is the fact that when babies are bred under these kinds of conditions and then are removed from their parents, you've got parental deprivation, you've got another species raising a species, you have gavage feeding where there's no nurturing, no care, forced weaning. All of these things impact the psychology of a parrot. So what you end up with is a product that's basically a psychologically damaged animal that doesn't even stand a chance of being a good pet. Parrots are highly intelligent. Just like dolphins or primates or humans, intelligent species do require a prolonged nurturing period in order to be well-adjusted adults.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.